Hello? Hey? Hi. It's a long time since I do. Well, okay. It's been a few weeks since I've done a live stream. But last time I played Kitten Space Agency. I want to look at that Reentry. Yes. Oh, sorry, Reentry. No, I'm thinking about something completely different. Yes. Reentry, as you know, is the switch flipping simulation. And, we're just going to go into. Okay, first of all, let's take a vote. What do people want to do? Do we want to fly Mercury, Gemini, Apollo, or the Apollo lunar module? Or do we just want to, walk around the space center or something? Yes. Oh, take on Mars. I remember that. Basically, I have many, many things to switch around with. And we can either go with low tech, mid tech, high tech, or crashed into the moon. Mercury. I see two Mercuries. Okay, I see lots of Mercuries. I see 3 people saying Mercury. Let's play Mercury. Now, shall we try a full mission? I'll be responsible for all mission critical decisions. Let's see how fast it takes for me to do this wrong. I don't actually know if this is a suborbital or an orbital mission, so we'll need to remember how to do this. I don't know what I'm getting myself in for. And you know what happens is things go wrong and the thing just sits there doing nothing. So it can be kind of embarrassing. Do it! Okay. So I will have to be careful to make sure you can see all the stuff that we can see. So press Roger when we're ready. Welcome to the flight certification. Pilot certification flights of the Academy's examination. Successfully completing one award you the pilot certificate of the corresponding spacecraft. Take your suborbital flight. Great, I've done one of these before. So let's press, what is it, M to get the mission pad up. Great. So the mission pad, of course, contains my checklists. And important to know, mission briefing. So what is the briefing? Welcome to Project Mercury, solo flight designed to test your ability to perform Mercury capsule flight. You will ingress 15 minutes before launch. The capsule is in the ingress state. Therefore, I need to proceed through the launch and suborbital insertion, retrofire, and everything else. So let's bring my checklists up. So we are about abbreviated internal check. We get 15 minutes. So let's just go through this. And I'm going to run this checklist now. And unfortunately, because of the way this is, I can't actually move the window. How do I move the window again? There. There. Okay, great. Let's get back to the checklist. Abbreviated internal check. B. Phase shifter fuse. Okay, it's there. Check. Emergency cap sep control, emergency escape, tower sep, emergency tower, emergency post, posigrade, whatever. Retro number 2, retro number 3, retro, emergency retro, asks, emerge 5, emerge main, reserve deploy, everything here. I should probably hit Roger, right? Prepare the full internal power checklist. Okay, well I've kind of skipped over that. Okay, this needs to be armed. My ultra retro needs to be armed. ACSC mode select, armed, retro delay, rescue. Pressure regulator handle in, retro attitude in correct position, and landing bag is armed correctly. Correct fuel, control fuel, primary. Where's the fuel primary switch? This is our thing here. Where do we put the fuel? Yeah, fuel is here, right? I don't know. It's somewhere around here. I'm sure we're fine. Okay, I'm going to say that's good. Fuel secondary. Yeah, I'm going to say that's good too, because I don't know where that one is. Cabin pressure indicator is here. That's cabin O2. Cabin pressure is there. Great. We're good. We get 12 minutes. Cabin temp indicator. The cabin temp indicator says... That's cabin air. Is that temperature there? No. I'm presuming that's temperature. Yeah, that's right. We're good. Suit temp indicator. Suit environment is looking good here. Audio is quite low. You want me to bring the audio up? I just don't want to overload the game, my audio. Suit pressure indicator is good. Primary oxygen. We're both at 100%. Secondary oxygen, 100%. Suit fan is on arm. Is on 1. Cabin fan, norm. Our DC selector is selected to main. Altimeter is in normal mode. ACSC bus, normal. Standby battery is on. Isolation battery, standby. Inlet valve, power, enabled. Audio bus, norm. Fans, AC bus, norm. Vocal switch, off. UHF select, high. Transmit, off. Beacon, continuous. Suit fan power, true. Invert, I don't know what that is. Control retrojet, retroman, blood press, programmer, and my suit thing is all set. We're good for this. Let's get into the next checklist because we have 10 minutes to go. So this is actually pretty good. We're getting into the 10-minute checklist. Full internal power at T minus 10 minutes. Monitor capsule bus voltage and current while the blockhouse switches to internal power. Okay, I think we're doing that. So let's run this checklist. Yeah, switch STE to aux. Request blockhouse switch to internal power. Switch to internal power. We'll do that at 10 minutes exactly, right? So we get a moment to take a sip of water because we all know that drinking is how you get through an a Mercury Redstone launch, right? Alan Shepard knows all about drinking too much. Switch to internal power. Great. Disconnected launch vehicle from umbilical power. You are now on internal power. Okay, next. Isolate battery. Switch to norm position. And we see change in our voltmeters here. Isolate battery. Off. Oh, standby battery, sorry. Off. Verify battery and bus voltages. We're looking good on these. At T-5, we're going to start their final checks. So, T-5 minutes. So we can run time forwards a little faster. See the clock up here in the top left? That's counting down. This is actually counting up to... I guess it's counting up to the 10-minute mark. Yeah, drinking is loading propellant. And of course, as I pointed out, you can actually drink the propellant on the Redstone. I mean, not the liquid oxygen, obviously. You can drink the alcohol, correct? There, you see? Counting down, 9 minutes. Let's run this a little faster. I mean, you can drink liquid oxygen. It just means that you don't live very long. You kind of damage your esophagus. 6 minutes. Check my hydrazine. There's no hydrazine on this. The Mercury capsule used hydrogen peroxide for its reaction control thrusters. I thought you would know that. Everything that worked on Mercury, you can pretty much buy at your average chemist, right? Final checks. Launch control. Launch control ready? Sure. Oh, launch control. Yes, we switched launch control to the ready position. Suit temp. Let's switch this up to 3. Okay, that's good. Cabin temp and inverter temp are all set to 3. Transmit should now go to UHF. Perform radio test. Okay, is there a radio check? Radio check. Player 1, we hear you 5x5 on UHF. Verify time 0 button. Cover removed. Okay, where's the T0 button? Isn't it like up here or something? There, time 0. We gotta take that off. That one didn't illuminate. DC selector should be on battery 1. That means we should... This. Okay, so now we get the voltage and the current on battery 1. Good. Arm squibs. Squibs are indeed armed. And the auto retro jettison is armed. Great. So we're good. We have 3 minutes to launch, so come back out. And we're going to go to the ascent checklist, buffer that up, ready. Buffer? Wait a sec. Buffering? Isn't that something that you say as a video gamer rather than a Mercury spacecraft pilot? Good God, what am I doing here? Let's move this transcript. I'm trying to find a spot where I can put this where it won't be sort of continually in the way. Maybe I'll put it there. That makes more sense. So looking up, yeah, we're looking up straight out the spacecraft. We can go to the external view. We get a few minutes to admire the landscape around us. Look at this. Dinky little thing built by those German rocket scientists. Yeah, squibs are small explosives. They do things like separate from the rocket, separate the launch escape tower, things like that. So their pyrotechnic devices are all over the spacecraft. Squibs are exactly. They are like an octopus, but they have a cold. So we can go to the commander's seat. We only have the forward window in this case. Left panels, right panels, and I think actually F5 is straight ahead, F6 is left panels, F7 is right panels, F8 is the upper panels. Great. So that's good. Buffeting. Yes, that's it. Okay, we have 2 minutes to go. Does anyone have any last words for this? I think it's important that we say the astronaut's prayer, right? And of course, Alan Shepard did this just before his launch. He said, "Dear God, don't let me this up," or something like that. Let's light this candle. Yeah, he also said that as well. So let's just take a look. Verify at liftoff. Altitude should be increasing. Verify the time counter is increasing. If elapsed time counter is not counting, hit T0. So we'll have to hit the T0 button. Monitor the abort and warning lights, which will be all the way down here. Verify the cabin pressure is decreasing. If on Atlas, and will not be on Atlas, we'll skip over that. Let me actually bring the sound down because I think it's about to get loud in here. On account of this being a rocket and me sitting on top of it, right? 59 seconds. Again, I don't have permission to urinate, unfortunately. My wife would be unhappy. Hello, Scott, from another Scott. But your name... a Scott. Scott is a Scott. But this Scott is a Paul. I'm a Scott and a Scott, but you're Scott and you're Paul. Or you're Paul and a Scott. 31 seconds. Time is running. This is our numbers ticking down. We're watching our accelerometer. We have our fuel here. Descent rate, altimeter. This is our DC bus. This is our cabin. Oxygen. The oxygen levels. Temperatures. Pressures. 11 seconds to go. It's tower jettison. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. There we go! Umbilical disconnect. Okay, let's get back to the commander's seat. Okay. So, altitude is increasing. Yep, altitude is going. Time elapsed counter. Yeah, I'm saying that's running. Time from launch is running. If elapsed, okay, monitor abort and warning lights. We're monitoring these lights down here. Verify cabin pressure is decreasing. So because the cabin pressure will decrease as we ascend, that's going down. On the engine cutoff, if redstone, start the redstone checklist. Okay, so we're going to get back out of here, and we're going to do the redstone checklist. I'm going to queue this up for when that time comes. But we are currently flying free. The only thing we're supposed to do is check these checklist lights. This should work automatically, but things may go wrong. So here we are, climbing out of the Space Center in Florida, which, as you know, in the 1960s there was some sea level rise, and only this area of Florida survived, right? It has been memory hold, however, and people forget that this actually happened. Umbilical disconnect, follow the ascent checklist. Can it go? Yes. Now let's get back inside. F5. Turner, forgotten the helmet. Why is it a commander? Because you command the mission. Even if you are you're the commander of a single vessel. You know, whatever. Jettison tower should be green, so we're looking for these lights to come on when our fuel goes down. Now I don't believe we actually have a fuel gauge in here. Obviously we are, I should actually say the clock started, by the way. Clock is operational, I should have checked that. Altitude check. We see you at 28.1 nautical miles. Temperature check. Temperatures are fine. I did not smuggle a sandwich. I have to wait until Gemini happens before we do that. There's the power go. We should lose the... There's the escape tower going. Tower jettison is green. Sep capsule. So we want this to go, so this will separate the capsule from the spacecraft. There. Yellow. Good. Okay, now the spacecraft is separated. We can actually see this quickly on the external view. Spacecraft is turning around. I'm going back inside because I have things to do. Auto jet. Disarm that. Pop the fuse down here. Okay. Emergency jet fuse. Green. In 2 minutes, start the pre-retro checklist. Okay. So we're going to get into the pre-retro. Wait a second. Pre-retro. Okay, let's bring this up. So, at... This says T-minus 30, but this is obviously a suborbital flight unless I've missed something. I just want to check that I've not missed anything here. We don't have the orbit checklist. Current objective, none. Okay, so we're going to do this. Now our suit temp should go to 7. So we're basically going to be setting maximum cooling here on the system because we're going to come down through the atmosphere. So we're going to be chilling stuff down. Emergency retro sequence fuse should be enabled. And our retro rockets should be enabled. And we should enable emergency retro again. So you don't want to fire the emergency retro early on. Periscope fuse. So we can actually look out the window. We're not doing any attitude adjustments here. Trim high frequency. Arm squid. Squibs are armed. Auto retro jettison is disabled for now. TLM low frequency. Transmit should be on UHF. Retro jettison should be disabled. Retro manual enabled. And attitude select is retro attitude, so the spacecraft will point the correct way. And we will maintain a retro attitude using the automatic system. And we're going to start the retro checklist. But we're not going to fire it just yet. They'll probably tell us when we're ready to do that. But we've... yeah, where's the button? Right, that's just the retro warning telling us. 5 minutes to retrograde light. Okay. At T-minus 20 seconds, amber and or. Okay, let's run this. There's the retro sequence starting. And so we would need to uncover these switches if we actually needed to do this. So there's 3 retro motors, right? 3 solid rocket motors that fire in sequence, right? They each fire for 10 seconds. They overlap by 5 seconds. Let's go back to the commander seat. Now, soon after this, I have to start these at T-minus 20 seconds. Retro warn, amber, and audible tone. Fire retro, amber while firing. Great. Now we're going to start the re-entry checklist. Okay. Auto retro jettison armed. Now we have to jettison that. Flip this switch so that we actually have the retro system available for jettison. That is armed. And so jettison retro is here. I mean, I could push this button, I guess. There it goes. That is the retro system jettisoned. Now complete the checklist. Attitude select should now go to re-entry attitude. The telelight, 0.5G telelight should turn green, right? So this is going to tell us that we are hitting 0.5G of deceleration. And at that point, we'll then switch over to the landing switch. So there we go. We're feeling 0.5G deceleration at this point. And the rate indicator should start showing 10 degrees per second of roll. That's good. And so we start the landing checklist. Landing. Activate. Okay, now we are watching our altitude here. Our altitude is up here. So before 30,000 feet, we need to make sure our emergency drogue deploy fuse is in. That's great. And then 21,000 feet will actually check this. So we're good now until we get down to like 30, 20 or whatever thousand feet. So there we are. We're spinning in 10 degrees to keep it stable. Now, you might notice this bit that sticks out here. This is a spoiler that sticks out so that the capsule... The idea was that because it's a conical capsule, it is stable against the airflow. But the problem is it becomes stable in both directions. So by adding this, the spoiler would actually make it unstable if it was going nose first and flip it around. So that is an aerodynamic device that's just supposed to make sure it's in the correct attitude for descending. There's the retro pack falling away. So yeah, let's get back to the commander seat. I don't think the entry would be quite as aggressive. Let's just go again. External. Look at that! Alan Shepard! Hero of America! Just peed his pants. Okay. There is RCS on this, but it's only for attitude control. Yeah, the switch. Yeah, they're switches. Sorry, they're not fuses. They're more like breakers. Okay, here we go. So we've already got our stuff. Make sure the emergency drogue deploy fuse is set in the correct number. So around 30,000 feet, we should be fine. And at 21,000 feet, we want the drogue light to come on, right? That was Alan Shepard, right? Remember, America's astronaut, first astronaut, peed his pants. It's just normal. It's been a privilege flying with you. You're just here for the crash. I think we'll be fine. I love that they have the mechanical computer here, even though technically I don't think it was fitted to this version of the Mercury capsule. This is a very early one. Okay, there we go. 20,000 feet. And you see it's marked on the thing where the drogue should deploy. So if we fall past that and the drogue hasn't deployed, we can pop this off and manually do it. Yeah, there is nothing... Yeah, right. He peed himself and then he came straight in and he took a phone call from the president, right? Because, you know, he was badass. There's the drogue deployed. Great. Now, at 21,000 feet... it's telling us that air pressure's coming down, so let's pull the snorkel out. Emergency O2 handle out. Landing bag is switched to auto. And at 10,000 feet, the main light should come on, right? So we should see the main parachute. At this point, we are falling underneath the drogue. This is not strictly correct. Let's imagine that we're looking up at it like this. That's one thing I've complained about, but fuel quantity, it's doing a fuel dump. And there is the main parachute. Pressure regulator handle, pop that out. Landing bag tele light should come on. Good, we've got the landing bag. After impact, ACE-SCS bus off. So we gotta wait until after landing. So right now, we have the landing bag deployed. This is... On the Mercury spacecraft, they had this, like, pressurized bag. It wasn't really a bag. It would contain the air, and so the heat shield would hit first, and then this would deflate very quickly and absorb the shock of landing in the ocean, right? That's what they had on Mercury. Obviously, they came up with a better thing. The periscope is closed. We could open the periscope if we wanted. I am not going to pop the hatch. That would be unfortunate. There must be a market for space pee. You should probably be studying for your finals. And the only reason this would count would be if your finals involved recreating, say, Mercury missions. Again, we're just watching this come down now. This seems to take a very long time. Did you know that you could actually get out the Mercury capsule through the front of it? That was an emergency situation, emergency route. Required you to kind of squeeze through, but totally possible. You know, YouTube pushed the channel membership a whole lot, but I just didn't think that I provided enough extra content to make it worthwhile. I do have a Patreon, though. You can support me that way. I would be very grateful. I sometimes post videos early to Patreon users. I also post things like extensive B-roll. For example, the tour of NASA with the whole computer system. I posted all the stuff there, all the extra audio, so you could actually see everything that the regular people didn't get to see. Also, if you want to support me, there is a t-shirt which I am trying to sell, and this is the last day that you can get this t-shirt. I'm gonna maybe put this in chat. This is a very limited edition. Actually, I don't know if it's a limited edition, but that it would be very nice if people want to you know, be part of this and support me a little, right? Yeah, the water evaporation system is generally a consumable on Spacecraft. I'm going to be at Astro Awards in January of next year, so I'm going to be DJing. I'm going to be obviously on various panels, and maybe I'll be saying hi. Maybe I'll be signing some stuff. It's going a full-time YouTube is complicated. I just had to record a sponsorship slot, unfortunately. So yeah. Okay, are we there? That's us. We've splashed down, and before I do this, let's fix the... There, we do that. And the photo light. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, great. Mission accomplished. Welcome home. So I graduated, apparently. So one of the things I like to do, by the way, I actually just for a second, I will actually pop this up here. This is the T-shirt that I decided to create. It is commemorating my wild ass flight with you know, Jared Isaacman, where basically well. How do you show the damn thing? Look at that. Okay, that's sort of there, right? We were doing some flying in alpha jets, and I decided to turn that into a t-shirt. Obviously, it's me throwing the rock and roll, right? The universal symbol of rock and roll, while doing... It was technically a slot roll, which is sort of a barrel roll. It's not an aileron roll. A slot roll is when you're in formation with 3 aircraft. You could set your profile name and customize your mocker MCC character. If you want, you could be green. Okay. Yeah, definitely going to have to do some stuff. I want to show this off. I did previously make a video about it, but it's kind of neat that they actually have a very high fidelity model. I think they bought the model from like some creator on the internet. But it's essentially, you know, LC39A or B. Actually, I don't know if it's A or B. But, you know, you can see everything around here, right? This is, you know, these are the umbilical connectors here. They're on these sort of, the angle over. So this whole thing angles up and then slots into that section there, and then the shield comes down to protect it. Yeah, there's things like... Yeah, this one comes up, sorry. This one folds up, right? Like, see how in the center there is the umbilical plate? That detaches, and then the whole arm folds up inside that, and then that shield on the top folds over so that you can see, so that it can protect it, right? Yeah, the GTFO arms. That is an excellent name for them. This is another one where you've got an umbilical, and again, one of these shutters that folds down. I used to know which one was which. So there's... This doesn't actually have hold down clamps per se, because it doesn't, you know, it's not really bolted down in the same way that other rockets are. And again, we have more of these umbilical arms here. Now you can actually run all the way down there, and there's some cool stuff to see. I wonder where the best way to get down is. Let me find that. Yeah. Oh. You see how this is here to protect the stuff behind it, because this seemed like the best way to protect it, I guess. Ah, yes, I used to love Kerbal Space Program. The weird thing is I can't sidestep. It's very unusual to not be able to sidestep when you're running. You can do it while walking, you just can't do it while running for some reason. Let's go out and we'll see a very important thing out on the pad here. So what I was walking around was the mobile service platform, right? So that's actually a giant steel building which is carried by the crawler, and then it gets placed on top of these posts, right? You see that? So it gets moved onto these posts, and then the crawler sets it down, and then the crawler drives away. So I don't know where the crawler is. It might be... let me actually see. Well, there's the flame diverter. The flame diverter gets moved underneath this. It's not placed in there until they're ready to launch. But if we run over, all the way over here, there's a very important thing. Just will take me a while to get there. You remember during the countdown, the last few seconds, you'll hear them say guidance is internal. That is a reference to a particular thing down here. There's a little blockhouse which has like a calibrated I think it's like a calibrated mirror system that's used to align the inertial platform on the rocket, right? So in here, there's an optical system that points up to a window on the side of the rocket. I think it's just above the third stage there. It's in the instrument ring. So this would lock onto that. They would make sure that the thing was pointed the right way, and then seconds before liftoff, they would switch it over. Now, why did they wait until seconds before liftoff? It's because the Earth is rotating, and the inertial platform will rotate. It'll hold still while the Earth rotates around it, so they would have to keep it held relative to the Earth until the very last minute. And so that's what this is all about. So yeah, this is where you get guidance as internal from. Ah, yes. And there have been other instances where the rotation of the Earth has been significant to rockets. There was an early Soyuz launch which had a booster not light on the pad, and so they shut it down, and as they are servicing the booster to safe it, the abort system fired, right? And unfortunately it started a fire in the second stage, and the whole thing eventually exploded, and it killed like a few people in the pad. And the reason the abort system fired was because the gyroscope on that on the second stage was rotating with the Earth, and as the Earth rotated, it looked like the thing was falling over. So eventually it reached a limit, and then it triggered, and that was unfortunately what triggered the abort system. Look at the pipe. You've got all the ground service piping. See how far away some of that stuff is? Yeah, these spheres, I think some of them held hydrogen, some of them held oxygen. I've not read Inventing Accuracy, but let me tell you, there's a lot of accuracy to invent. Yeah, so you basically have three stages, right? I'm sure you know this, right? You've got the bottom stage, obviously, which is the first stage. That has the F1 engines. The second stage has 5 J2 engines. It's liquid hydrogen. Then the third stage is a single J2 engine burning hydrogen. And right on the top of that third stage, right before the rocket tapers even further down to the command module, that's where the instrument ring is. That's where the sensors are that measure the orientation of the vehicle, and that's where the computers are, which guide the entire stack. So the entire rocket is guided by hardware on the instrument ring. We can actually get under here and see that they have in fact put in the flame diverter there. So what's that out there? Clearly one of these is a shapeshifter, right? A body snatcher. We've had the flame diverter snatcher come in. Uh-oh. Now I gotta walk all the way back. Oh, one thing I like to point out, by the way, I don't think you can get up on these stairs, but this bit here that comes out, this pipe that's coming down sideways, does anyone know what that is? What this particular pipe is? That's one of my favourite things about the Launchpad. Maybe I can actually climb up it. Oh, you can't climb all the way up it. Oh, yeah. Oh, you can actually see inside it. At least. Oh, yeah, look, we can see it inside it in this way as well. Yeah, it's the crew escape slide. So, if there were crew inside of the pad, right? Because there's actually lots of rooms and stuff in here. There's like power conditioning, there's plumbing, there's pumps, there's, you know, electrical distribution. People are working inside that. If there's a problem that means that they have to get out of there quickly, they can slide down that and it leads to like a big bunker underground called the rubber room. It's like literally a room which is vibrationally isolated from the area around it, from the ground around it, by rubber. So you strap yourself in, and if the rocket explodes, you're not going to get battered by a shockwave. I hope the game lets you climb down it. That would be pretty cool. Okay, so you can strafe, but you can't... Oh, okay, I'm really confused. Once you start running, you can't change to strafe mode. That's what's going on. Okay. Yes, slide! Oh, yeah, okay. Well, let's climb back up. There's a few more things I can show you on this. I love wandering around this model. There's so much to see. And obviously, this is just... I think this is something they just bought in, because the fidelity on this model is great, but it seems kind of extraneous to the game itself. It's just like, oh, we paid for this awesome model. Let's let you walk around it rather than, you know, flying spaceships and stuff. So look, we can actually climb up the entire service tower here. Let's do that. Here we go. Oh, actually, hold on. Is there a way to step in here? No, that door doesn't open. But if it did open, that would be another way to get down. You could also take the elevator, but I don't think the elevator works. Oh, okay. I've apparently fallen inside the downstairs. I did not expect that. I hope I can climb this ladder out. Okay. I may be stuck. Okay. I've failed. I've managed to get myself stuck. Oh well, I'm going to be stuck here until the rocket goes, or the elevators come down and crush me. The elevator works only in one direction, and there's no jump, right? No wall jumping. That's it for our brave astronaut. And let's respawn. Oh, that's funny. Use my portal gun. It would be great to have a portal gun here. Okay, so you basically climb up to each level here, and obviously this tower has plumbing at every level. You know, here's your emergency stands as well, like for your eye wash. Look at the plumbing, like that comes from the side and it goes up the pad. There's a whole lot of stuff going on here. These are, of course, the armored cameras, which are used to observe various parts of the rocket during launch or pre-launch. Go a little further up. There's some more cameras there. Some of these are film cameras, some are TV cameras. I'm not sure how to tell which are which, to be honest. Okay. Oh yeah, so look, that's how you access the interstage. It's not even the interstage, actually. That's the intertank area. So, like, on this first stage, you've got the fuel tank there, and you've got the oxygen tank there, and you've got the fuel tank there, I think. Yes. Right? And so the oxygen pipes, they're two separate tanks, and this is the bulkhead with the tank forward for the fuel tank here, and the rear tank of the oxygen tank is a hemisphere there. So you can actually get in there to do stuff. Actually, can we walk around that way? Oh yeah, look, so that's how you get in there. Just in case there's stuff you need to do. Intertank personal access door. Ah, T-Bob, thanks for your discussions of pogo oscillations. It's one of these things that people like to ask about, and I should probably explain at one point or another. Okay, so what have we got here? Again, more cameras. This is how you get up on top of that. Now, notice, by the way, there's a couple of umbilicals that go in there. I believe these are primarily for air conditioning in that section. Maybe I'm wrong. Or I don't remember what's on that section there. Because I think the first stage is primarily fed through these these lines down here. Oh, that might be true. That might be where we have... Yeah. Okay, let's run up the stairs to the next level. I forget. I always have to look this thing up. So if I sound like I'm saying something that's honest, don't necessarily trust that I actually know what I'm talking about. Wow, this is a big, tall thing. You can take it from me that this is actually a big, tall thing. Okay, here we go. We got a bunch of different arms here. So these are the access arms that roll back during takeoff. So this is the front of the stage here, right? We can get down. Yeah, it is kind of deja vu, isn't it? So this is like power and everything for the front of the tank. But I believe these are just like pressure release lines as the oxygen boils off. Yeah, do not value confidence. Value people who are honest enough to tell you that they don't necessarily know what they're talking about without reference to actual reference materials. So now, there you can see the ring here, right? See how there's two white lines in that? That's the interstage ring. On there you would have the stage separation motors, which would push the rocket apart. In fact, I wish I could... Oh, here, wait a second. There. See where the pointer is? That is one of the stage separation motors, right? So these would push this stage forwards during the stage separate... Wait, can I... Yeah, wow. Unfortunately, I can't seem to put this mouse pointer in the right place. But once those have fired, they're kind of dead weight. So that's why this section would split off here, right? So after stage separation, you've seen that famous shot of this ring falling away. Well, that's what that is. That's an interstage ring. Yeah, these pipes, I think they're probably like 18-inch, maybe a foot in diameter. They're big. So again, we have another access arm down here. This gets you into this, not quite the interstage area, but you can definitely get up and access the umbilicals again. So you see that? We've got a bunch of connectors for the second stage. And that is where, this is where you'll have the fuel and propellant lines actually coming into the second stage, because that's hydrogen and liquid oxygen. Here we go up here. I'm sure there are nerds that know every single one of those lines, and I would like to be one of those nerds. Unfortunately, I'm not one of those nerds. I'm one of these nerds who just marvels at their very existence. So the rocket was painted black and white in various patterns. First of all, it was painted with angular patterns so that they could track it accurately. Like, by having these square patterns, you could actually measure the roll of the rocket using film from the ground. So that was one reason they did that. And they have these various like black points so they can actually measure the acceleration of the pad, for example. That's what these dots were for. And these bands were so that they could measure whether it was rolling. In fact, I believe that I've seen papers where they looked at flexing in the entire booster as it lifted off, because they could see that difference between one end of the rocket to the other. Right? The other reason, sorry, some of these sections are painted different colors for thermal control. So, like, these interstages would be painted black because they would actually get too cold sometimes. And so they wanted it some heating, I believe, in some cases. And then further up, like... Yeah, you'll see that in a few different places. Anyway, it's primarily for tracking, and that comes from like the German V2 is another example of that. Okay, let's keep going up. And we have the forward end of the second stage here. Again, I believe this is where the liquid hydrogen would be fed in, or at least this would be where it would boil off. Go a little further up. And this is us leading into the interstage between the second and third stage. And of course the rocket tapers down. There's only one engine in this third stage, But you can also see here, these are the pods that would provide like attitude control, right? So because you only have a single engine in that third stage, you can get yaw and pitch control, but you can't get roll. So this is needed for roll control. But also, this entire stage has to be able to restart once it's in orbit. So this gets into orbit, it still has about 3 kilometers per second of delta V in it after it reaches orbit. So it cruises around for an orbit and then fires its engine again, which means they need attitude control so they can point it in the right direction and then fire the, settle the fire the ullage thrusters to settle the propellant and then fire for going onwards to the moon. So that had a lot more capabilities in terms of attitude control. It also had a lot more restart capabilities. So if you see the rear end of this, there's a bunch of spheres. It has balls on it. And those are helium spheres that are providing pressure not only for the propellant, but they also provide pressure to start up the engine, right? Yeah. And interestingly, by the way, once this goes, the computer in the command module, it can actually command the entire stage, right? Once it gets there. Once it gets down to the third stage. But before that, most of the control comes from the guidance computer on the top there. So actually, yeah, the guidance computer for most of the rocket is this black band there. It goes all the way around. It's called the instrument unit, and that contains just the computers and the cooling and the power and the batteries. It was huge, but that was IBM building a computer. They actually had 3 computers in there for redundancy. It wasn't nearly as small or as compact or even as capable as the computer that they had in the command module and the lunar module. Okay, we're getting up here. And so this one here, yeah, this is where you will have the connections to at least take the hydrogen in and out of the third stage. Then finally, once we get up the top, it was computing its trajectory. So actually, interesting thing here, this instrument ring that I talked about here, so there's multiple computers in here that would do like self-checks against each other, right? So they're actually running software to calculate what its trajectory should be. The problem is those computers were not fast enough to actually control the engines. So it would come up with a new launch trajectory solution every 2 seconds or something like that. So it would transmit that. But the rocket would have to steer its engines much faster than that. So there's an analog portion, right, which says this is the attitude I'm supposed to have, and it controls the engines much more rapidly using an analog computer. So this was a hybrid digital analog computer, which is pretty neat. There we go. No, those were transistor computers. Actually, interesting thing is that the computers in this, they didn't use integrated circuits. So IBM still were not using integrated circuits. They had discrete transistors. But what they would do is they would build these really tiny chiplets where they would put multiple tiny transistors onto a single tiny PCB, and then that's what they would then put into their larger circuits. So they were kind of hand-making chips. Does that make sense? So that was the sort of design that IBM used, whereas up in the command module and in the lunar lander, they would have the first integrated circuits. And most of the chips they used, I believe, were NAND gates. Now, they would only have like 8 NAND gates on a chip, something ridiculous. But they would wire these together in different ways to be able to actually run. Yeah, they would hand build logic gates. That's what they would do. It's very, very, very interesting. You can also see the RCS thrusters of the command module here. Yeah, let's go up one more step. Sorry, I'm getting all sniffly for some reason. Excuse my voice. So here we go. We can actually take a step out and go out and take a closer look at our final. Well, this is not the final one. This is the final. This is the one that lets you access the service module, and you can see just like how big these little thrusters are. You can actually read. I'm worried that if I step forward, I'm going to fall down. So now this one, I don't believe they fueled it on the pad. I think they fueled this like prior to rolling it out, but they needed to like feed like coolant and water and other stuff through the system. But the actual propellant was loaded prior to getting it to the pad because it was like nasty hypergolic stuff. Yeah, these engines, these R4D thrusters, are still very much in use. Actually, so I have pictures of an instrument unit that's on display in Huntsville, and I was there as part of ThinkerCon, and I was showing the guy that I was with, explaining this to the guy that I was with, who was very interested in taking his own pictures. That guy that I was with, who was really interested in my explanation of the computer that ran the Saturn V, was named Donald Pettit. Yes, astronaut Don Pettit. I was explaining all this stuff. I think I might have missed the crew access arm. Oh wait, the crew access arm is interesting, right? So to get to the crew access arm, we go the long way around, right? So here we go. We go to the other side of the pad, right? And first of all, here is the crew escape system here, right? If the astronauts had some trouble, they would jump into this, right? And it would go on these big lines all the way out over there, where there would be like, I don't know if there was a tank there, but now there's an MRAP all the way out there, which is basically a big armored people carrier, which is supposed to be driven away. But these guys would jump in here, slide all the way down, and get out of there, right? So actually, someone's asking about the CPU and GPU. I don't remember what the CPU is, but it was the fastest thing Intel sold at the time. I just upgraded my GPU to a 5070 Ti, 16 gigs of GPU memory. So that is solving a lot of trouble for me. Another thing worth noting, by the way, is see this line here with these little like hooks coming out? This is a sprinkler system. So think about it. If there is a fire on the rocket and the crew have to evacuate, they have to run down this. Obviously, they're running in this direction, but they're spraying water over them to make sure that they are not on fire. So, like, they actually have dedicated sprinkler system to protect the astronauts as they're trying to evacuate the spaceship. Yeah, I used to have an 8 gig card before, until recently. And I got that 8 gig card in 2020, so it's pretty good. I have 64 gigs of memory in my PC, so I'm okay in terms of main memory. Yeah, this is the White Room here. Nothing to do with the KLF. But this is how the crew would get into the capsule. They would lock the door. And then, of course, the whole thing would roll back away from the rocket, right? And as it rolls back, you can actually see how some of this works. So if we go all the way back to here, you can see the turntable on which this whole arm would sit. So this whole arm would rotate all the way around, and in fact rotate around and face like the opposite direction. Now the problem is this stuff is out the way, so these railings actually fold down so that this arm can roll around in this direction. That's kind of neat, and that just gets the arm way out the way for takeoff. So yeah, the crew escape system's kind of neat on this thing. So we can actually go up the top, yeah. In the White Room, that's the other one, right? Cream, is it? Yeah. There's obviously the launch escape system there. Big solid rocket motor that will take them and free them from the rocket. It will pull the capsule and nothing else. So this is the top, getting up to the top of the elevator system here. More cameras up this way. And oh look, this is just the suicide jump. This is where you jump from if you want to like get on top of some of these things, huh? Oh, they totally tested the crew escape wire. The one that I was really interested in is when ULA were talking about building their crew escape system. It was going to be like a roller coaster. Okay, so we've climbed up to the very top here, which kind of complicated. I don't know how we're going to do this. Okay, I can just clip through it. There. This is the crane, which again is rotated to this like 90-degree position for launch. So I can't remember what it can carry, but one of the reasons why it's painted yellow and red, I believe, is because if the load is in the yellow section, then it can carry more. Out in the red section, the load that it's allowed to carry is half. So there you go. We're down here, and I can probably jump off and try to get somewhere. Let's try and get on top of... Oh, can I get in here? Oh, okay, great. Oh, now I've already been here, huh? Okay, let's try and get on top of the crew access arm. There we go. There's no jumps, so you do something and you just fall through it. Yeah, there you go, you see? Magic. Okay, let's actually go back to the main menu. Let's do one more thing. Let's play something else. I'm actually doing some training. I'm still trying to learn Apollo. So this actually teaches you about the various servicing, various bits of hardware. Let's just do the full lesson on atmospheric entry and see how far I can go. Yeah, I also have like a Lego tower, by the way, which I built. Actually, it's not Lego, it's fake Lego. I wish that Lego made real Lego. That would be amazing. It's entirely possible this tells me something that I don't remember how to do. So let's see what happens here. Wow, we're taking a long time here. What's going on? Okay. Welcome to the atmosphere entry lesson. This is a repeat from the entry lesson, but lets you try an entry using the full Earth entry procedure. I am 220 by 220 nautical miles circular orbit around the Earth. The procedures we are going to use can be found in the mission pad checklist, so let's bring that up. There's a problem moving this window about, I've discovered. Checklists. There's a lot of checklists. And actually, got to make sure I'm on the right page. Command module. Okay. Translunar injection, G and C, T and D, L and M. Earth entry. Yeah, okay, we're doing this. Open the Earth orbit entry vehicle. Okay, we're opening this. Throughout the checklist, time to CM, SM, command module, service module separation is used as a timing guideline. Okay, event timer, 1 hour to count down. I don't know when that's going to be, but I guess I got to set the event timer. Okay, so it just says complete the checklist. Okay, open the CFM burn planner. Okay, wait a second, it's telling me to do this. Well, open the CSM burn planner. Okay, so for this I think I need this. Burn planner, okay. Plan an entry burn with an entry interface angle of about 2 degrees. Set the phase to 260. Okay. Phase angle 260. There we go. And delta V to 454 feet per second. Direction to retrograde. Okay. And take a note of oh, I need pens. It says take a note, and I've got no pens here. All my pens are elsewhere. Wait, I got one. If only I had a hover pen, which everyone seems to be promoting. Go figure. Okay. So this is the burn data here. Time to ignition. Time of CS. Press request. Wait a second. Request. Okay. Oh, okay. Apparently I didn't note it. Capsule time SPS ignition for deorbiting is 2 hours, 39 minutes, 18 seconds with a delta V of 454 retrograde. Okay, so that's 2:39. 2:39, 18. Burn attitude with current ref smat roll is 207. Pitch. Okay, let's take these numbers down. 207.03. Pitch 281.72. This is the kind of thing they would have to note down. 3 0.05.02. They would actually have cards to write these things down. And so this is me reading back. Program 30 pad deorbit burn SPS GNC 60215 minus 042 plus 084 23918 minus 454 minus 00 minus 00. Right, so those are the speed vectors. And then these are the angle numbers. So, I'm going to say Roger here. You can optionally write the pad. It's great that they tell me this after they send it. Burn into the crew members' request pads or press Roger to continue. Okay. Okay. Press Roger to continue. Great. Open the P-30 maneuver pad form. Okay, I may be screwing this up. Where's the maneuver pad form? Where do we keep the forms? Is it in the checklists? No. Roger, Roger. I wasn't ready to copy. Well, I was ready to copy, but it didn't tell me that I needed to copy stuff until afterwards. Mission pad? No, that's the mission pad there. Open crew members. Okay. Crew members. Wait a second. Where's crew members? Oh, crew members down here. Right here. Bang. It's written. It's underneath my face. You can't see it. It's there. Request pads and charts. Okay. Preliminary forms. P-30. This might be a problem because there's the open P-30 maneuver pad form. This is like the worst. There it is there. So this is actually what we would put the stuff in, right? You can write the numbers into this if you like. So now we're going to set the event timer to 59:59. Okay, so the event timer, where is that? That seems unlikely. We've got this timer counting up here. Hey, thank you, Jason Levick. I'm glad that I was useful to you in some way or another. Okay, plan a reentry burn. Okay, we're going to do this. We planned it. Take a note of EI. Write down the deorbit burn pad. Set event timer to 59. Okay. Where's the event timer again? So, this is mission timer. The event timer, I know where that is in the lunar module, but the event timer... This is why you shouldn't skip previous lessons, because you'll end up with this. Is this... What's that look like? No, that's the attitude set. Timers are really important. Left seat, low center. Pitch, SCS type. Oh, here it is, the event timer. Okay, but where's the numbers for the event timer? Ah, there. So we've reset it. Oh, but we'll stop it. Okay, we stopped it. So, reset it. And then we'll add... Oh, 59. There we go. Okay, so set the event with set counting down. So we're set to count down. Crap, I made a mistake. Oh crap, oh dear. We're set to down. I went and reset the counter. Stop! This is so funny. Amateur! Oh, why did it... Hold on. Why did it reset my thing? You evil scumbag, you. If only I could take this thing down. Okay, I'm leaving it there. I'm leaving it! EMS entry check. It's to go through the EMS testing to verify it works. You have to watch to measure seconds. You can help with the timing. Follow the steps. Press Roger when it's complete. Okay, EMS entry check. EMS function. It's set correctly. Great. EMS MNA. Okay, closed, closed. Great. Standby. Standby. Now, set to test 1. There we go. Wait 5 seconds in EMS test 1. 3, 4, 5. Okay, I think that's pretty good. EMS mode, normal. So we've tested that. Wait 10 seconds in EMS test 1. Okay. Great. I'm not sure if I'm doing this right. Says all our lights should be off. Okay. And the range indicator should be 0. Delta V range is 0. EMS function, test 2. Okay, test 2. Wait 10 seconds, so we're testing this. So we should see the 0.5G light come on, which I think will be in here maybe? Or maybe not. Where's the 0.5G light? It better come on so I know where it is. Oh, 0.5G. Bang, we got it. Confirmed. EMS function test 3. Okay. Wait 10 seconds. 0.5G lit. RSI lower light should come on after 10 seconds. Okay, does anyone know which light that will be? I mean, I could just pretend that I know that the light has come on. Maybe this one? I don't know. I'm going to say yes. EMS set to range. Wait a second. Use the EMS set. How do I do that? How do I set the range? I think I need to go back to the previous one. Let's go back to the main menu and do the easier checklist. This is oh dear. Emergency medical services in space. Yeah, let's try this again. Academy, Project Apollo. Let's do atmospheric entry. We'll do the easier one. We'll get this. Houston, we have a problem. Where's the undo button? Vehicle is in state that is not useful for what we need it to do. Again, I'm going to remind people that this is your last day to be able to get the t-shirts. If you're interested, guaranteed delivery for Christmas, supports the channel, like lets you relive those awesome moments. I came to the USA because I got a massive, awesome job offer here, and I never looked back. I mean, I love Scotland, but yes. Okay, let's do this again. Atmospheric entry checklist. 220, 220. Attitude heat before. SPS burn in retrograde. Open the mission pad. Open the mission pad. SPS deorbit and entry. I'm gonna put this. I'm trying to put this over here. It's really hard to move this pad about. There we go. Checklists. SPS deorbit, Earth entry, SPS deorbit and entry. Okay, great. Please open the mission pad, open the checklist. Roger. We'll use P30 to set the landing burn and P40 to perform the burn. I recommend referencing the AGC chapter in the manual, following the steps for P30 and P40 while going through this lesson. Well, okay, great. So we're going to go through this and see if it actually gives me enough information to perform the SPS deorbit. Oh. Okay, V30. We're going to go into the computer. So, Verb 37 starts a program. Enter. And program 30. Enter. Okay. So, we've got zeros all in here. So, N33 TIG, accept Pro, reject V25, then Pro. What? Before we continue, please know this lesson will go through the basic steps needed to land. Once the service module is separated, time to enter interface about 10 minutes. Open the CSM burn planner. Okay, I guess I'm running ahead of things. Okay, we're going to do the CSM burn planner again. Burn planner. 260. I may have skipped over some lessons, or I may have forgotten that I've done some lessons. Direct. Take a note. Says time to... Oh, then make this retrograde. Retrograde, okay. So what I don't see is it's telling me to take a note of time of CSM, right? Oh, here it is here. 1:33:16. There we go. Now I know where that is. Okay, TSM. Right, we've got that. Press request. Request. So we got the numbers. Now, time it will be 1:27:59 with delta V 454. Burn attitude with current refs mat. Roll 207. Right, 20703 and 28172 and 30502. So I actually have these numbers already, right? Now, let me bring up the crew members, and we'll go to the request pads, and we'll open the P30 maneuver pad form. Right. Press the brush to start writing. I wish I could increase the size of this. Can I increase the size of this? Oh, that's a little better. So we can actually see what we're writing here. Now, what do I put these numbers in? Do I put these numbers in anywhere? Yeah. Verb 6 is to show down, and then there's also monitor. Right, these are various things you have to do. These are numbers. Set stars 20. This is such a cool thing. And by the way, we can look at the transcript as well, right? The transcript will let us see what's going on. So this is actually, we got it here. Stop and set the event timer to 59 for deorbiting burn with delta V, pitch burn, attitude. Okay, so we've got these numbers in here. And we'll go and set our timer, right? Because it's telling us to set the timer. So reset, and we'll set stop. And we want countdown to be set. Yeah, there we go. Okay. So, again, 59. Let's do this. 59. I'm just following the instructions here. You can see that things are... You can see why being an astronaut is not an easy task. There we go. Okay. Are we good? Are we good? So I'm going to click raw. The SM separation should happen 15 minutes before entry burn. Take the time of CSM step from the burn planner and subtract 1 hour from it. Okay, so we're going to have 33:16. So we need to start the entry planner at 0:33:16. So, but where do we get this number here? This is the mission timer, but it's going up. We'll get back to this soon. I hope that works. Start program using using V37. Oh, so we've actually already done that. Roger. The 3 registers should show the time to ignition. Let's try this again. Verb 30. Enter. Oh, no. Verb 37. Enter 30. enter. Okay, let's reset this. Verb 37, enter. 30, enter. I think I've broken the computer. Let's clear this. We're in program 30. Let's start program. Oh, wait, something happened. We get numbers in there. I think I'm gonna go verb 37. I'm gonna start program 0. Let's get it back to program 0. Now do verb 37, enter, program 30, enter. Okay, now we get numbers in here. Now we get numbers that actually look like they might be sensible. Great. Hours, minutes, and seconds. 1:27. That looks about right, actually. You can change these values, but the burn tool should have uplinked the... So, I want my timer to start in 27 minutes. Now I know what I'm doing. So if I... Now, I can probably monitor this or whatever. I'm sure there's a way to do this. I can change the values with the burn tool. So I said proceed. Right, there we go. And so these are the numbers. 453... okay, I'm just going to accept that. And it'll display... Oh, shoot. That was what I previously displayed. The impulsive delta V at local vertical. Great. This is used to set the amount of delta V in a burn to vector format, allowing the burn to happen in a retrograde. We used to burn the retrograde direction. The value is already populated by mission control. You can ignore the minor differences. Press proceed to accept the values, which I did before reading this. Now we're doing verb 6, noun 42. It shows the apogee and perigee altitude and the magnitude of the delta V burn. Our perigee should be negative as we target a burn to bring the craft through the atmosphere. Right, so we're going to have negative perigee, and this is our apogee, and this is our delta V, which is 454 roughly, remember? Roger. So verb, okay, did I need to press proceed? I think I needed to press proceed. Yes, proceed. So now we have verb 16, noun 45. It shows the time to ignition in R1, R2. Wait a second. So those numbers are coming down. Great. Press proceed to accept. The AGC will automatically start program 0. Roger. Now we need to orient the spacecraft to the correct direction. So I think I don't need this maneuver pad anymore. Now I'm starting to get my flow. So let's start following the instructions. We'll use the auto maneuvering to get to our attitude, but first let's align the inertial measurement unit, the system responsible for maintaining our stable inertial platform. Since the ordeal is set to internal, what we see on the FDAI instruments 1 and 2 is the platform of the IMU and the platform for the GDC, FDAI 2. Great, okay. We will use program 52 to align our platform with the burn direction. Okay? So we're going to run program 52. So verb 37, enter. 52 to run program 52, enter. So now it will show verb 4, noun 6, and we get this flag set, which I think this is an octal. So now we need to key... let's just see this. Yeah, it shows 01. Verify that this proceeds to... Hold on. Oh, I missed a thing there. Okay, so we loaded this with the preferred orientation. The preferred orientation is 1 uplink to your computer when you request this. These coordinates are named reference stable member. Don't have to worry about that. So now we need to do verb 22. Enter 1 or plus 1. So, okay, we got that. That is setting register 2, correct. And then press proceed. Then verb 6, noun 22, shows... Alright, never mind. Clear. This will also take you back to program 0. Press proceed, yep. There we go, and notice our thing is going to the correct attitude now. Next, we will auto-maneuver. To do this, we will use verb 49, enter. This will load R62, the routine used for auto-maneuvering. As our IMU is aligned with the burn direction, set R1 and 2 and 3 to 0 so that we'll align along that vector. And then we'll do the V CRUD and the complete routine as you did in the auto-maneuvering lesson. Okay, so we need to go to checklists. I'm going to clear this. So we need to find the auto-maneuvering checklist. This is why I should have done all the things in sequence. What did they ask us to do? Transcript was crew def maneuver. This is how you can tell I'm not an astronaut. See, I'm much better at Mercury, obviously, because I've done the Mercury one multiple times. Systems, abort, GN alignment, thrusting, crew def maneuver. There, we got it. Okay. So we'll use V39. Let's make sure we do this. So we're going to use V49. Okay, so let's clear and we'll do verb 49, enter, and that loads register 62, the routine used for, okay, sure. As our IMU set register 1, 2, and 3 to 0, so we've got all that set up, and then we'll follow this checklist. Okay, I think we're doing fine here. Or we may not be doing fine. Okay, key, V49. Oh, I did that already. And then I need to do proceed to accept. Then V06, we've already done that. And then verb 50, noun 18. Okay, verb 50. I think I might have operator error. Great. Clear. Oh, I think I got it. Let's reset. Verb 50. Noun 18. Enter. Okay, we got our numbers back. That looks like numbers. And we'll hit proceed. That doesn't look right. I think I've broken it. I've just blown up the septic tank. As you just said. Can we turn it off and on again? This doesn't feel like it's maneuvering, if you ask me. Let's restart this. Clear. Run this again. Right. I'm gonna clear. Reset, whatever. Verb 49. Enter. Okay, we have 622. Proceed to accept. So we proceed to accept. Now we have verb 15, noun 18. Auto maneuver request. Press proceed to accept. Okay, I press proceed to accept. And then let's do verb 50, noun 18. And it cleared. Okay. Let's set proceed. We might be facing the wrong way. You know what? I almost feel like I just want to look outside and see if I'm facing the right way, but clearly I'm not. Yeah, I'm facing the wrong direction, I can tell, because we are not pointed retrograde by any means. Oh dear. Oh no, we're stuck. Yeah, let's do verb 96, enter. Okay, let's restart the checklist again. We do verb 49, which worked, right? Enter. So this brings up like our vectors, right? And we're doing this, correct? So I'm gonna do proceed to accept this. And it shows 50, now in 18 to request. I'll say proceed to accept. And now it's still in 50. I'm proceeding as hard as I can. Let's set panel 2 40. Wait a sec. Okay. I'm already burned up. Yeah. So what I don't get is I've followed this exact sequence. And torque the IMU. This will take you back to Pooh, right? And you will auto-maneuver. Next, we will auto-maneuver. To do this, we'll use Victor 49. Verb 49, load R... I figured that there's probably something here, but why hasn't it told me to do this? CMC mode. It's in the left there next to FDAI, right? CMC attitude is linked to the ID IMU. Is that what you're talking about? CMC mode, auto. Let's try that. Is that what you're saying? Bottom one. I found. Oh, look! Things happened! So, like, if we do this now... Okay, we got this. We hit proceed. It's putting these numbers to 0. Wait, are we turning? No, we're not turning. I thought we might be turning. When in doubt, auto mode, yeah. We're supposed to do this. Verb 6, 22, then proceed. And now we're in Victor. So let's actually go back to... Let's rerun this checklist again, right? Turn on cheats. This is why this game can be so humbling at times, when I can like run through the Mercury checklist from memory, and then the Apollo one, which I've done in Orbiter a couple of times. It's kind of wild. Alt F4, yeah, Alt F4 to get to the moon. That's correct. Alt F4 to find a place of safety, right? So let's... We have this thing doing, like, attitude stuff. Right. Okay, we'll do that. And then... Wait a second. Alright, well... Oh yeah, look, there's this stuff here is not being reported. This is what I'm not getting. It says run this checklist, but it's not part of it. Let's run this. Verb 37, and then we'll make sure we're in 0, 0, right? Right. Set the tot at ISS display. I don't know what that is. Key, and then we'll do verb 49. Enter. Right, we got that as our attitude, right? And it says accept by proceed. And so it's showing 50. Okay, and I'm going to say proceed to accept. And then it's in 618, maneuver in progress. Oh, is that actually maneuvering? Is it, or is it just drifting? It's moving really slowly. The sun has come up, though. Or is it moving, or is it just drifting because I've disabled attitude control? Yeah, it should go into mode 50 when it's done, right? I just have to be patient. Yeah, it says maneuver is in progress. Don't forget to stir those oxygen tanks. Thanks, Conrad. I appreciate that. Where is the stir the tanks button? Right. While this is turning, it's somewhere in here, right? Here's the fuel cells, reactants, line heaters, main bus B. Yeah, still stir the tanks. Shaken, not stirred. I know the switch is over here somewhere. It's pretty funny. Yeah, I think commander is on here. This is the commander's seat on the left. And the command module pilot sits over here, and then the lunar module pilot sits in the middle. This is still running. It says maneuver is complete, which feels unlikely. It just feels like it's drifting. But hey, look, we get some great visuals as we prepare to burn up in the atmosphere. I accidentally pressed proceed again. Press proceed to restart it again. Okay. Okay, I'll press proceed. Proceed! It's taking too long. Jupiter wouldn't likely become a sun. I'll say that. VTOL pilot says what? Yeah. That was a little easier than flying this. There's a few more control. I've set rate to low. That is probably what's going on, right? There's a rate setting somewhere, right? Yeah, Jupiter needs more black hole for that to happen. Second row, left side, rotation, attitude, limit cycle, dad band, wait, rate, high. There we go. I'm not sure that's going to help. That doesn't feel like a high rate to me. But at least we can see the stuff. So these should become 0 when we've got the thing correct, right? I can maneuver it to 0, 0, 0 itself if I want, right? Try spinning, that's a good trick, right? I could also run the timer. I could actually run the timer forward. I forgot that we did this. Okay, look, I actually heard the RCS thrusters firing. So I think it's doing something. Will it null the roll rate for me? It's still showing some roll thing. Okay, so I'm guessing the maneuver is complete. It should show V50 when the maneuver is complete, right? Okay, well I'll just press proceed again. I'm just going to enter to end the routine. Okay, we're done. We're done here. Let's start program 40. Mission pad. Open the mission pad again. We are going to find P40 SPS guidance somewhere. Okay, thrusting. Okay, CMC on. Let's run this. P40. Prerequisite. CMC, whatever, on. Required. Where's CMC? And why is it not? I'm just going to assume that's on because I don't see a little marker telling me where it is. ISS on and orient known. Okay. Does it not give me the clues in this one? Because I thought that in this mode it would actually show me where the stuff is. Because I'm looking for CMC, right? Is that a system that I should be finding here? Ah, you see. Kepler or Leo. I'm a Leo fan. Make sure the computer's turned on. Looks like computer's on, right? ISS on and orient known. I don't know how to tell that. I'm just gonna say yes. No. I like lots of things. I also like jazz. Okay, so this is the CMC mode. Auto. Okay, so the CMC mode should be on or auto. Where's the ISS switch then? Yep. But where's ISS? This is where we're at. I'm never going to find it. Sorry, I can't do that, Scott. I'm just going to accept it for now. SCS. On. I already did all this, but it would be nice if they would show us the things I need to do. Test the C and W/W alarms. Maybe I turned off the thing illumination. Whatever. Digital autopilot. Load and activate. Okay. Pre-thrust program. So is a autopilot actually loaded? Let's go program 30, right? Or I did that already, right? Is that what you're saying? Okay, so we did, yeah, V49, complete auto maneuver. VEH prep. What's next? None of this makes any sense to me. How do I know that I already did it, though? How do I know that I did it? Opt 0, 0. Make it so... What does opt 0, 0 mean? There's no opt button. Where's number 12? 1112. 9, 113. Is there a panel 112? Oh, wait, it's down here. Oh, wait, it's down... It's hidden under here. There, okay, that's it. That's it, I got it. Okay, now we're getting it. Now we're doing stuff that it makes sense. Okay. Disky, verb, push. 3-7. Enter. And then 0, 0. So we're going to program 0. Okay. And then, great, verb, 3740, verb, 37, enter, 40, enter. I don't think these need to be individual checklist items. Okay, so we have 50, 18, that looks good. BMAG, mode, roll rate 2. Okay, we got that. Got these all set up. CMC mode, correct. Okay, we got all this stuff. Disky, proceed. Is this doing the thing we already did? SC auto maneuver starts. Okay, we're doing that. This is the thing I already did. I'm confused by this. This is the guides in this are sometimes very confusing. Okay, so we must be there. We must be close to final attitude, right? When the maneuver is complete. We got some maneuver complete. Great. Now we're gonna... Roger! I think I missed something here. So it should show V50. I'm confused. What did I miss here? Press enter to break the auto maneuver. Okay. Continue with pre-forward. Okay, so now we're in V. Okay, that's what we're doing here. We needed to press enter there. Great. So we got that. Time scale until thing is 1 hour for. See, we already said earlier it was 1:50:10. Start with the event timer. It should count down towards SM. Okay. Roger. How do I know when the time scale is? It's about... Oh. Then the time scale again to about 20 minutes before the planned ignition time. You can use the MET timer, compare it with a burn plan or TIG field. Your name is Ukrainian. Wait, what are you doing? Return checklist. This is so much better when I actually like had prepared beforehand. Here's me thinking it would be funny to watch someone with who can fly planes and stuff just go and just completely mess things up. Enter into the computer the following. Yeah, 00 destruct 000 destruct 0. That is a great password. Isn't that the destruct code in the Enterprise? And it's Alt F4, yes. There's no Alt F4 keys on this computer. Can you see that? There's no F Alt. There's no function. So how do we complete the SPS thrusting checklist? Checklist item 204. Checklists. Let's go back. So there's the SPS thrusting checklist. Where SPS burn LOI. No, this is the SPS thrusting checklist. Okay. I'm really confused about what checklist I'm supposed to be in. We're not even close to 10 minutes to ignition, so we're just checking that we're in the right modes. Is there a gimbal check somewhere in here? Let's just... It says 10 minutes to ignition, but I really don't think we're at 10 minutes to ignition, so I'm going to clear this for now, right? Complete the gimbal check per SPS thrusting checklist. Okay, we're SPS thrusting. That's what it is. Where's the gimbal check? Auto maneuver, ignition. I'm going to skip the gimbal check. Okay, Roger. It should show time to ignition. Let's do this then. Verb 06 down 40. Okay, time to ignition. 45 minutes. And Delta V continues to the next checklist. When the counter shows it's... Okay, so we got to do this checklist. Let's... Oh. We did the DAP load and satisfy. We did this. We set our roll rates. And I will do proceed once we're there, but we're waiting for this time to click down to 0, right? So it will be about 20 minutes, right? PC load ladder, right? Yeah. What the does that mean? Noun 99, verb 99, noun 40. What does that mean? Oh, we have to get through this. Look, it doesn't matter if we land in the wrong place, right? So let's go through this, right? Let's check DC indicators. Make sure that our batteries are working, right? Bat bus A, great, we're on that. Main bus tie. Verify our bus amps and volts. Okay, we get amps and volts here. Bus B, check, and then put this on. They're great. Verify bat bus E, we get volts there. Verify SPS helium service propulsion system. Helium. Okay, sure. But that's not it. Is there a button to actually set here? That's correct. That's correct. That's correct. That's correct. That's correct. That's correct. We got a switch to switch. TVC rate pitch command. Okay. And yaw. And roll. And pitch and yaw. And it wants the rate to be low. Okay. Great. Now we're down here. We're good. We're good. We've got our values in. We've got our servos. Now we do it that way. Okay, great. Trans power. RHC power. We might do this a little early. Okay. RHC is armed. Auto switchover check. THC. We are high. Where's my THC setting? Seriously, there's a THC setting on a thing that's designed to go to the moon? Right hand controller. Verify. No. Okay. Sure. No motion. Whatever. TVC check. Turn that. That. Confirm set trim content. To SPS gimbal check to trim valve something or other. Right hand controller. Okay, great. Another THC setting. This is to verify that we have control of things. This is supposed to be a tutorial, but clearly something is not working too well. Proceed. No, proceed. Oops, I accidentally hit the wrong button. Okay, we're now in the wrong mode. We're supposed to be in 6:18. So we could bring up verb 6 now. Okay, I'm gonna hold on, 40. Okay, let's just bring up verb 6, noun 18 to see what it says. Oh, this is part of the maneuver, right? This is a maneuver mode that we did previously. And then, okay, that's great. I'm just going to hit enter. Once proceed, the SPS is armed. Okay, we're not in the correct mode though, right? Transcripts. We're waiting for verb 99, noun 40, when we're close to burning, right? Except this number is increasing, so I think I may have missed it. I think I might have missed my burn opportunity. So it's like when you make a mistake like this, how do you get out of it? I'm gonna hit proceed again. Now we're in 16. Oh no, wrong button. Wrong button. Re-request a new burn. Burn planner request. Yeah, I have to go back through the system. I just want to fire the engine. We're just a few thousand kilometers off course, but we can figure this out. Yeah, we got slush building up on the walls of the cryo tanks, obviously. I'm not going to restart the mission because I clearly should know what's going on. Let's sync the timers, right? This is still counting up. There is a button down there, yes, for synchronize the timers. Oh, clear. We're back to program 0. Right? Our planner request, we got it, right? And then we'll do verb 37. Enter program 00. Enter. Okay, we're back into poo. Just eyeball it. How do I just tell the system to run? And we're scrolling back through things. Program 40. Okay, program 40 is running. Victor 20. Program 52 optional. Okay, let's run program 52. Verb 37. Enter. Okay, there's our numbers. This is a preferred orientation, so we should be done with this. And I guess we're gonna run program 40. And our numbers are... Oh, I pressed enter instead. Is this the right... We're in the right mode or not? P1 and then P2 to retire the... No! The P30! Okay. Let's do this. Verb 37. Enter. 30. Okay, we have numbers. I'm gonna proceed. Okay, we get the chief who's telling me what to do here. Okay, I'm gonna press proceed again. How many times? And then program 52 again. Okay, now verb. Now we're gonna do P52. So verb 37. Enter 52. Enter. Okay, we have numbers coming up. Set the controls for the heart of the sun. Yeah, there's only a green screen of death on the Apollo guidance computer. It's permanently dead. Okay. And okay, we've set that up. Have AI just do it. Micron sold all the RAM. We've hit proceed again. I'll hit proceed again. How many times do I need to hit proceed? Just I keep hitting proceed until something happens. I mean, I know people that did this for real. That should be continuing to program 0. Yeah, I think things may not be working as well as it should have. I think that there's sometimes weird issues with the state on this. Like, if you get too far off the checklist, I think that it gets confused. Phone a friend. Yeah, I should phone my buddy just a few miles away. His name's Rusty, and he flew on Apollo 9. I think it would be a bit embarrassing. I think requesting 2 different deorbit burns might have confused the system. Yeah. It's also entirely possible. Can I do an EVA? I think it would be very bad for me to do an EVA. It doesn't work because, of course, I haven't done all the whole patch setup. Just look at all those buttons, though! How beautiful is that? Yeah, there's the briefing. I think it frequently gets into situations where stuff doesn't work. Can we just fire things manually? I like how there's buttons actually on this. I never noticed that. Rusty's, you know, I think I need to go and try a different mission. I think we need one more. I think we need to end this stream on a success, so we need to do something that works. And since we didn't fly Gemini, we have to do a Gemini one, right? We're going to the academy. Let's just do the ascent checklist, right? We'll just do this. We're making this happen. This better work. This is Reentry, a spaceflight simulator. It lets you fly all the things with too many switches. This is not the MOL. That was Gemini Agena. Ground check. We have you 5x5. Okay, we're going to go through the ignition. So let's bring up the mission pad again and try to stick it over here. Let's go to check. What does the transcript say? There isn't a checklist that I start? Oh, here we go. Time to ignition has been set at 30 minutes and we're holding. Okay. First, we need to repeat the steps. We will just use the provided checklists. Okay. We'll do the pre-flight. From here, select the pre-flight checklist and press either of the run buttons. Okay, I guess we're going to do the battery check. Let's just do all of these things. Interior inspection. Let's run all this. We'll do this fast. Interior inspection. Lights are correct. This needs to be... There we go. Dim the lights. This is correct. That's correct. That's correct. We're setting all our breakers just to make sure that everything is set correctly. Oh, that one needed to switch. If it's blue, it needs to be switched to a new state. We're basically setting all the breakers here. Or whatever switches. FDAI mode is correct. Got. Is there anything that I've missed? Oh, event timer. Event timer direction. Auto. Great. Fuse. Correct. Fuse is up here in the top panel. So these are all the different... Oh, we missed the ohms fuse. The ohms fuse was in the wrong position. Oh. So ohms heater fuses. I think I'll leave that off for now. Oh, okay, I need to get in here and switch things. That needs to be on. There's a lot of breakers to make sure are in the correct positions. Great. Okay, now where? Where's the green thing? Oh, it's up there. And this... Acme bias power. Oh. If some of these are wrong, how bad could it be? That should... I should probably like actually check, be a little more careful and make sure. I don't know what that's supposed to be set to, but I'm switching it. 50% chance that I got it wrong. I'm going to switch this to seconds. That's the timer, rate gyros, I don't know, whatever. There's a lot of switches in this pre-flight checklist. Pimp X over off. It's green anyway. That's computer stuff. There. I turned it the wrong way. Okay, now these breakers over here. If some of these are in the wrong position, I'm sure we'll get a chance to fix them later. Because we get lots of checklists. What? I flicked these off, and you're making these turn off again? Start battery checklist. Clear all. We're going to go to the checklists. Back. Battery check. Let's do this. Main battery is on. Main battery 3 off. Off. Main battery 1 test. We have battery power. Is that us testing it? There, okay, we got it. We should probably be over on this panel because this is all power checks here. Okay, verify battery 1. Where's my voltage here? I would think that the voltage here would be in here. There we go, volts. Main battery off. There we go. Okay, great. Now, this one goes to test position, which is down. We see voltage here. Main battery 2, greater than 24 volts. Great. Battery off. Battery 3, test. We get batteries. Great. We got our numbers. Let's switch this back here. Finally, this one, switch on, verify we get 25 volts, and we'll switch this off. Great, voltmeter selector goes to C. Start the fuel cell check. Okay, so this is the later Gemini, which had fuel cells. The early ones didn't have that. Checklist. Okay, fuel cell 1A, on. Fuel cell 1B, on. 1C, on. 2A, on. Fuel cell 2B, on. Fuel cell 2C on. Voltmeter selector onto 1A, which is here. And then we have 24 volts. Volt selector 1B, check, 24 volts, good. 1C, again, 24 volts. 2A, 24 volts, check. 2C, oh, 2B, 2C. Again, 24 volts. Voltage selector C. Great. Now switch the fuel cells off. So this is us just testing our fuel cells hooked up. Voltage selector is now set. Now we're doing our squib checklist. We have 23 minutes to go and we're doing fine. Squib and abort check. Squib and abort check. Okay, squib batteries. Where are the squibs batteries? Let's turn these on. Voltmeter, select S1. There we go. Verify voltmeter is displaying 0 volts. Correct. Squib battery 1, UMB. Okay, now we get voltage on that. Battery 2. Battery 3. Verify S1 indicates greater than 24. Squib battery goes off. So squibs are obviously used for various pyrotechnics. And we'll set this to S2. Now the voltmeter should be delaying 0, and then it will turn these on. Okay, that's good. We got our numbers. Oh. And then we're going to select C position. Verify C indicates greater than 24 volts. Verify abort indicator lights are extinguished. I don't know where the abort indicator lights are here. I presume they're over here, maybe? Maybe not. Oh, there's an abort. That says abort. Maybe that's the one they're talking about. I'm going to say that's extinguished. Request squib and abort test. Roger. So we go to comms and we need to request squib and the abort test. Okay, we're good on that. Verify test is a success. Oh, and that light illuminated now. Yeah, we illuminate at prompt. And we start... How do we turn these lights off now? Oh, there. They came on and they went off. Great. Full internal checklist. We have 21 minutes, so actually we'll run this time down to 15 minutes. Okay, there we go. 15 minutes. Start this checklist. Main battery comes on. Main battery 2 on. Main battery 3 on. Main battery 4 on. Squib battery on. Squib battery 2 on. Squib battery 3 on. Fuel cell 1A on. Fuel cell 1B on. Fuel cell 1C on. Fuel cell 2A on. 2B on. 2C or not to C. That is the fuel cell. Fuel cell 1 power on. Fuel cell power 2 on. Switch to internal power. Is there a way to do that? Is there a switch to internal power button? Switch to internal power. Okay, we get a check on that. Switching to internal power. Start pre-flight checklist at 5-minute mark. Okay, so let's do this. Pre-flight. This thing practically flies itself. Yeah. How hard could it be? There we go. Full internal power. Let's get this thing going. Pre-flight. We got all these batteries on. We checked these already. Fuel cells are all on. Computer power goes to on. MDIU on. So the computer's starting to do things. Aux tape power on reset. Okay, it's on. Squib boost. Insert. Arm. Squib retro 1. Arm. Squib retro 2. Arm. Squib retro 3. Arm. Squib retro 4. Armed. And coolant primary pump on. Coolant primary pump off. Coolant secondary pump on. Coolant primary pump on. Radiator flow bypassed. Soot fan number 1 and 2. IGS platform is set to free. Horizon scanner set to primary. The OBC self checks are now complete. We heard that running in the background. Ejection seat D-ring. Do we actually have something to actually check here? We just want to make sure that... I'm sure that's fine. We're not going to need to eject, right? Okay, computer. We should now start. So the computer has probably done its checks. Platform alignment. Verify complete when the FDA eyes are something. So this is performing its attitude. So the FDA AI looks like it's stationary now, so I'm going to accept that. Computer mode will go to ascent. Acme rate mode should go to command. Rate command. Prop motor valve AMS open. RCSA open. RCSB open. Ohms goes off, actually. Correct, correct. Keyboard 7. Push. 7. 2. And perform a radio check. Radio check. We read you 5 by 5. Okay, the computer's done its check. So we're waiting for T-minus 30 seconds to start the ascent checklist. So let's actually bring up the ascent checklist. And I'll add that on to the end. How are we doing here? Are we excited? We get a minute to take a look at this thing. Remember, this was designed as a nuclear missile. And they decided to put people on it. And its propellant is hideously toxic, and it doesn't have an escape tower. It seems that I want to go to orbit. We're on a elevator to hell. Going down. Yeah. Commander seats. 1 minute to go. We're running. We're running. We're running. We're running. Okay, 30 seconds. Start the ascent checklist. MDIU power on. Ascent. So that's us. We're waiting for platform alignment. I'm hoping we're aligned. T-minus 10. Computer mode. ASC. And not running. Okay. Add ignition. 10, 9, 8, Engine 7, 1 and 2 lights should come on. Oops. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ignition. Whoop. Great. Where's the engine 1? There's engine 1. I thought I would see these lights running. No? Monitor computer. Make sure the clocks are running. We got a roll program. And we are seeing some attitude changes here. We have an ascent going up. We have this is our altitude going up super fast. At 75,000 feet, the D ring should be stowed. Okay. When fuel and oxidizer one is complete, we are going to hit staging. Mark, 50 seconds. You're looking good, 8. So this is these are for the fuel cells. So that's not the propellant I'm looking for there, right? This is the fuel and oxidizer, so we're burning through it here. So we should go to the external view and appreciate this thing. Look at it. What a marvel of engineering. Designed to lob warheads and end the world. Isn't that beautiful? Let's get back to the commander's seat and see what our numbers are looking like. Commander's panel. There's our propellant loads here by the looks of things. This is Gemini. Gemini is a 2-seater, you see? There's my buddy over there wearing the Gemini suit. So when the fuel and oxidizer is depleted, we should see staging. I would have thought the engine 1 and 2 lights would come on, but I think maybe I screwed something up. You notice our timer is running, by the way. This is the mission timer, very useful. Or this timer is useful for all sorts of things. Apparently I didn't run the current objective, by the way. Somewhere along the lines I didn't run the thing. We're almost there. Let's go to external and watch this. The staging should just happen for us. Hot staging as well. I like how they have the debris and everything going out there, huh? Okay, Commander's panel. We show no lights illuminated now. On Sisiko and insertion, there's nothing for me to do here, I guess. Let's just watch it. I am A-OK. Oh yeah, well, I think I've done this. Oh, is there a toggle D-ring button? Ah, there it is, the D-ring. And I've toggled it back, so that's how I was supposed to do that. Oh, the devs are... well, there's a lot to do here. As long as the Scott payload doesn't become a MIRV. It's true, it's true. I should Gemini ascent guided the roll program. It's just telling me this. This is always a problem with the training, is that frequently I don't know where I'm supposed to be reading, and I only do it. It takes a few times to go through this. I've verified the clock is start, checked the altimeter, done that. Fuel and oxidizer indicator. So this is the fuel and oxidizer for engine 2, by the way. So you can see that we're partway through this. Check the G-forces. This is your G-forces up here. Because we're burning propellant, our G-load is increasing, right? We should have seen the cabin pressure decreasing. During ascent, periodically monitor the electrical power system to make sure that an electrical thing hasn't failed. Good to know. Let's get another look outside. Look at that. Just trying to make it look exciting. Getting close to burnout. By turning the selector, yeah, we're doing this. We should have hit the hold. It's telling me to do this. Oh, now it's actually telling us about the whole thing here. I should have read the transcript. This is absolute cinema. We're almost at burnout.
Roger, Seco.
Roger, Seco. So we should have a stage separation here, right? Come on. No, we're not going to get any stage separation. Yeah, I think we might have to do a manual separation. Okay, on Seco and insertion. Set light is illuminated. Set spacecraft push. Okay, that doesn't work. That's interesting. Set spacecraft push doesn't appear to be working. I'm right-clicking. I'm right-clicking. That's left. That's right. Left, right, left, right, left, right. We're not gonna jet the retro, right? We don't want to hit any of these other ones. Let's jettison the fairing. That's worked. Maybe I can clip through this. Check the breakers. Let's arm the jet. No, it's retro. No, we don't need that. Yeah, I need to unlock the button with the right click on the clamp, right? Okay. Ah, that's it. Oh, wrong button! Crap! That was stupid. I pushed the wrong button! Well, so much for that! And we jettisoned the fairing now. Let's enable the ohms. Let's at least get... whenever I made videos, it took like 4 or 5 guesses to get it right. Ohms is here. Okay. IVIs are mostly 0. It's telling me to run pre-launch now. Well, let's see what it says. Numbers are looking good. Yeah. Cabin pressure should have gone down. Yep. We've reached orbit, but this tutorial is just confused. It's great to have Gemini, yes. It's telling me again about all these things. Can now monitor stage 2 propellant. Good to know, because I figured that one out. Right, so we did see these numbers here, and it said we're mostly good. Another important is to jettison. Yes, I've jettisoned that. The horizon scanner should now be working. Now let's go back to the IVI. It's controlled by the computer. Is used frequently throughout the mission. When launch vehicle insertion into orbit, there might be a difference. Middle value. So these are like telling... I've used these before in another video explaining how the guidance computer worked on the Gemini. If the inclination shows 999, it shows you that you're wrong. That's fine. Your ascent, if your ascent was nominal, this should be fine. If the value shows a forward burn, a correction is safe. Very important to correct a forward burn if the left motor shows a large value. Okay. If the value shows an aft burn, care should be taken as you might collide with a launch vehicle. Let's try to maneuver the spacecraft and see how it affects the IVIs. You need to use the ohms. It's done via the switches. Okay, so that should be... The prop motor should be open. Okay. And that's correct. The ohm system is now enabled. Very important. You can always disable ohms immediately after use. Use the translation stick. Okay. Use H to translate forwards. Oh, no, we got to translate backwards. There we go. There, we're on our correct orbit. Excellent. Okay. We got back to a 0 IVI state. When you're done with the IVIs, set the computer to catch-up mode. There we go. Roger. Since the spacecraft is now in rate command mode, this will be covered later. You'll also have attitude control. So we can use WASD and everything. There we go. I'm flying this thing. We've already got that. Oh, look! I sort of debriefed. I don't know if that was a success. Goodness, though. I think at this point, I need to go and do other stuff. But thanks for tuning in and hanging out this, well, not always successful video. Clearly, I need to spend a bit more time with Apollo. Yeah, I know, you can do a quick... You can do this, resume mission. I think you could pop the hatch somewhere. Oh, look at that. We didn't depressurize the cabin, so we're dead. Kind of cool that you can see outside. Can we maneuver? Yeah, we can totally maneuver with the hatch open. Yeah. Look at this. We have a car with a sunroof. We have a convertible spacecraft. Yeah, I kind of want to be doing a few more live streams because I actually enjoy messing around with this, and I would like to do some more just like gaming streams and stuff. Obviously I like making the actual science content. That's pretty important to me, but you know, I just like to hang out and stuff. It was awesome that we had actual devs coming in and helping me out here, right? I think, you know, I may have found some bugs, or I may have just shown my complete ineptitude. I think that, as I said, this sometimes it's not clear whether you should be using the commands at the bottom of the screen or the objectives at the top or the checklists elsewhere. This is Reentry, a spaceflight simulator. It is in the Steam store. It is a perfect Christmas present if there's somebody that you want to send off and have them flip switches forever, right? I'm not sure how I could send the log file. I'll take a look and see if I can find the log files, right? If somebody... Is there a Discord that I'm on already? Or you probably have my messages or whatever. I have not played Tin Can. There we go. We're just hanging out there. I have other stuff to do. Oh, there's my booster in the background. And there's the fairings hanging out there as well. Regardless, thanks for everything. I will see you all later. I'm Scott Manley. Fly safe.